Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is JGOD. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my thought process as I play a game of Warzone and kind of take you through the overall how we move around the map and kind of walk through some of the best tactics to position yourself in a way where you can actually get both kills and be in position to win the game, which you're going to see within the gameplay. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you do comment that down below. And if you enjoy the content, let me know by hitting that like button. I have a goal in today's video of 1,000 likes, so hopefully you can help me hit that number. And if you're brand new or you're part of that 87% that hasn't yet subscribed, definitely consider subscribing with notifications on so you'll be able to find your way back to the channel. So we're going to kind of walk through it. We're going to look at the overall head view of the map. Obviously, you can see we're playing quads here, and I'm going to be linking all the players that I'm playing with in the description below. So we're going to end up landing at TV station, and when it comes to landing on the specific zone, one of the things that you got to be aware of when you're positioning yourself is what areas of the map do you have to cross if you land at one location and kind of have an idea of where the general map is going to converge on. So this is something you got to consider based off the individual zone. For example, if you landed at prison because that's the last drop, you don't think there's going to be a lot of people there, when you rotate, you're going to probably have to rotate through downtown, stadium, maybe TV station. If you rotate early enough, maybe you get up to Quarry before it kind of rotates over here to the left. Or if you go ahead and go over here by Promenade West or Hills, then you got to rotate across the train station, through the hospital, maybe past Superstore. And it really kind of depends on how you want to go. And if it ends up over here at Dam, then you got to cross the airport. So there's a lot of different obstacles that you're kind of putting in your way if you land at a spot that's going to put you in a position to probably fail. Not saying you can't land anywhere and get a win from anywhere, but it's just something to consider when you land. Where am I going to have to cross? Personally, I don't really like spending a lot of time in downtown. We do end up going through downtown, rotate back across, and then move back up where we started, and we end up somewhere over here for the final zone. Get our little landing kills. These ones, when it's a hot drop, sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's not. You can't really always judge. Land at Superstore, 10 teams there, 0 teams there. Same thing with radio station or the TV station. You get those variables. So you just kind of have to roll with it. Sometimes you'll roll out of there with 5 kills. Sometimes you're going to roll out with 2. Sometimes you're going to roll out with none because you got to go hit the gulag and come back. It's just kind of how it goes. So once you've looted up, especially if you're playing quads, the overall goal is to get as much money as you can as quick as possible. Whether you got to do a quick scavenger contract, recon, maybe you're going to do a bounty, or try and kill the people that are hunting you, whatever it is, you got to load up on money so you can get that loadout immediately, because that's a huge advantage, especially when you're playing quads. We're still looting here. We know that the bounty's over here to the right. We have enough money because we've gathered it. We're going to drop it all together. We're going to get our loadouts. And that's pretty much what you're going to do every single time. Personally, if you get the loadout drop quick enough, what I like to do is get overkill and then I go get ghost. Or you can do ghost and then switch to a class to pick up the other weapon if you're trying to do that. So right here I went with overkill, running M4. You can see the overall attachments on the bottom. I'll go through those if you guys got any questions. And then I'm also running the HDR. I've run the AX50 a lot recently just because it has a little bit faster rate of fire. You're going to see this combination ends up paying off huge when we get into some of these gunfights and us allowing to trade people out or pick somebody off. So it's sometimes just different roles. Somebody else on my team, they're going to be running an RPG so they can worry about vehicles, shoot into windows. So you kind of have to complement each other's style. I wouldn't recommend all people use RPGs or all people use SMGs or one particular weapon. Having a variety will definitely help. So I end up lasering that guy. He's one shot. And you can see the bounty is over here to the left. We're kind of running out of time, but the good thing is that whoever's hunting down T-Clean over here, that their timer is going to run out and we should be getting a little bit of money. So we know that there's still people here. We got to kind of push from different angles. I'm pushing around left to the flank to see if I can pick anyone coming out on the side, and then they're converging on that building. Because ideally we're trying to get that bounty money. Best thing is that if you know where the enemy's at, even if you still kill them, you're going to be able to pick up that money that you just got from killing them because they survived that bounty. So either way, you still get the money. Guys positioned over here, kind of marking where they're at. You can see that somebody else is doing a recon over there at the fire station. Just trying to see what's going on. And it ends up looking like the guy just took off. He ran somewhere and we lost track of him. I don't know where they slipped off to, but apparently he took off in a general direction and we kind of just said, screw it. Let's go ahead and go to the next station. Once we get a little bit of money, we'll follow the UAV, drop the money so that everyone has enough to get the UAV. And then we'll transition to wherever the UAV is going to tell us. So a lot of the navigating in this mode has to do with those UAVs because it allows you to push the pace. Obviously, there's players with ghosts, so that can catch you off guard. But generally, people are coming in from the gulag, or there's a lot of variables where they just do not have ghosts. So you should be able to track people rather easily, especially if they're doing what I did, where I ended up with an overkill class and I do not have ghosts currently. You can see someone's bought back. So right here, basically all you do is gotta go to your map, look at the first buy station that's right there, and you know where people are going to be. And that kind of serves as a UAV. So that you know, okay, the enemy's going to be over there. They're going to land on their teammates. Look at where that guy's landing. Sometimes they'll tell you because maybe they just got killed. They're going to come back to their loot. They're going to be strength in numbers. So that's just a little bit of a tip there. We know that there's someone in that general direction. We are sitting on one UAV, but we're going to wait until we actually get a little bit closer before we call it in so we can position ourselves, because they're clearly in a gunfight. We're going to try and third party it. They've given away their position. They did buy back their friend. And now we got this combination of information where we got to push forward. And the downside with sometimes pushing in this general direction is there's going to be people on the rooftops, which you're going to see people do end up being on the rooftops. He ends up hitting that guy a little bit early, cracks him around the corner. He's probably part of the other team. So we're going to keep in mind that once you've downed someone, even if it's a team wipe, it might not be the full squad. So you got to be extra vigilant on where people are. So I'm coming through, can't mantle that, gonna end up jumping over this, and then I'm gonna try and see what's going on. There looks like there's at least 3 people there, and I come through and I'm pre-aiming and I check the left side real quick, and then I snap back. Pretty much I take that guy's armor, I throw some C4, ends up thinking I'm downing him. I did not expect this guy to be literally just standing still. I end up breaking his armor too. So pretty much there, I led to 2 downs. Even though I didn't get the downs, those guys are pretty much broken. And there ends up being 1 additional player kind of sneaking around. I get into this building so that my teammate can revive me, safe in cover. Still listening for audio cues, and then my other teammates getting revived as well. So that's kind of what we did. Cleared out the area. Now we have a reasonable amount of money where we can actually call in maybe 2 UAVs, hold on to them, maybe start getting some self-revives. Especially in quad, self-revives come in handy. I know a lot of people like to thirst immediately. It's just how battle royales work. You kind of want to be in position where you're going to take down that player, especially with the stim shot. You come back so quick with those self-revives that you're going to want to make sure you take care of those players, since it's only about 4 or 5 seconds for a revive, regardless if it's a self-revive or an enemy player is getting revived there. So now we picked up another bounty. We're not sure if they're in the helicopter or not. We're hoping they're not in the helicopter, because sometimes when they travel halfway across the map, you lose out on that bounty. You have to wait till it's either poached or it just the time runs out, which leaves you kind of money dry because you're not able to get all that money. Almost thinking they were in there. I take a couple shots. I don't land those shots, by the way, obviously. I'm trying to hit whatever it is. I was just kind of going for it. I don't really have the rifle that's going to be able to hit those ranges because my M4 is more built towards the medium to short range, not necessarily long range where it shoots like a laser beam. There is a difference. It's more built for ADS speed. So it's still a little bit of a slow match. You're going to see I still end up with a good number of kills. And really what we're trying to do here is push up to this buy station. We're expecting there to be people on this front side because that's in the general direction where we saw some gunfire. So we run through the building. We end up getting ammo. Pretty much even if you're full ammo, you still go through because I still want to restock that sniper rifle. Do you see the guy on the roof? I land a couple shots here. He's pretty much to the point where my teammate finishes him off. Easy, clean kill. And that's just kind of what we're doing, giving the call outs. If we saw someone solo player, they instantly downed. And what we notice is as soon as we come up here, there ends up being just good timing where there's gunfire on this left hand side. So I pre-aim, take them out, and like I said, that's the range where it gets a little bit trickier to hit the shots, especially with the railing. Take them out, pull out the sniper. I end up killing this next guy. You'll see I end up getting a lot of clean snipes right here. So this is where that comes in handy to have that overkill versus ghost, especially since the enemies weren't calling in UAVs. But there could be a completely different scenario where maybe it would have been better to have ghost. So we end up clearing that whole area out. There's a guy on the roof that my teammate called out. I switch to my sniper really quick. I go for the snipe, end up hitting him mid-air. He's downed, and then that's going to end up leading to another kill. So we're kind of moving around. That guy didn't instantly down. It didn't team wipe. It looks like the guy ended up having self-revive at this point. And I could hear the guy jump off to the left. So he self-revived, and then he ended up coming back this way. So the guy sniped in the air. He ended up replating. Got lucky. He comes back through, and then I'm able to finish him off. A little hard to see because the guy's wearing green and he's all through the little bush and the grass. Gets a little bit harder to track, but I was still able to take him out, pick up the cash. It almost worked out to a benefit because if he just died up there, then we don't get that big bag of cash. So it's just kind of how it goes. Right now we're tracing the bounty. We picked up another bounty, and those bounties serve as a mini UAB for an area that is close to us. We know there's a guy behind us. We're not really worried about that where it's at right now. We're thinking of pushing primarily the bounty. I get the self-revive kit, and we're going to push up all pretty much on this building. He shoots the RPG in there. I'm checking this side to see, because sometimes people go up, and then the bounty's already cleared. And what you're going to see is there ends up being one guy right here, and sometimes when it's a solo, it's like it's legitimately a solo, and sometimes it could be a squad of 4, where he's the only one that just doesn't have the ghost class set up, so he's popping up on the mini-map. So I'm coming through, and we're pretty much focused on what's going to happen. We need to get in the zone. We're worried about kind of these people on the roof. And sometimes if there's people on the roof, you kind of gotta just let them jump off and kind of avoid it until it's the right time, which unfortunately, sometimes you get a pick of it and sometimes you don't. So you can see we're sitting on a lot of money here. T-Clean needs to plate up, but we're going to come through. We should have enough. It looks like he gets down, and then I end up spotting this guy on the right. I end up taking him out. Instantly just kind of snapped onto him, melted him, and then we're able to revive Callouts over here. And we have, like I said, plenty of money to see what's going on. We're going to call on a UAB. And once we call on a UAB, we know that, boom, there's people over here on this bottom side of the map. The good thing with like a map like this is we know that there's a lot over here. This, we can get into multiple gunfights. They're probably at the buy station. They're probably up top here. This is for sure 2 teams, could be potentially 3. And then as far as this side, it's only 1 team that we have to deal with. If I go over here, odds are we could probably get 1 team and then we'll get third party, just because there's so many bodies lying around, so much noise, all that type of stuff. It can get a little hectic. So this one's a little bit more of a riskier push. So this is ideally the one we want to push. Since we're already in the zone, all we need to do is push at this angle and we should be able to hit them as they're coming into the zone. Because we already know where they have to go. The zone is closing, so they have to go pretty much in a linear path unless they all have gas masks and they're going to take a long way around, which maybe is not the case. They probably don't even expect us to be coming out here. And the teammates are calling out. They're saying, hey, you know what? We got to get them before they get to the high ground, because if they get to that high ground, then we're not going to be in the greatest position. And I get a little bit like cocky here because I'm going for a clip. And you'll see I get some nasty snipes right here where I'm able to hit the guy. So the guy ends up peeking. I do get a good spot on him. I end up hitting the first one down. That's why I have that focus on, so it prevents that flinch. Got the other guy. And I get the third. And I should have played it here, especially since my teammates are pushing up aggressively. Somebody had self-revive because I end up jumping over, spot the guy. I end up finishing him off, or down the next one. Finish him off, so I get my kill. And then there still should be 2 down, and then there's a third over here. And since I didn't plate up, the guy insta-melts me with like 3 bullets. I think it was an MP7, because when I go check out the bodies, there's an MP7 laying on the floor. So the guy just happened to laser me. I wasn't having any health on, so that kind of was just my bad. Right here, I'm holding the self-revive, and I'm kind of just getting it close as I move it. So all my teammate has to do is go up and hold it for like half a second, and it'll go and revive me, and I save that 4,500 cash instead of spending on another self-revive. We targeted that group. No one on my team took damage from that pretty much, and I was able to get the clean picks. If I was running RPG, that wasn't going to happen. It's really about having that chemistry with each other, and this was actually the first time I played with anyone here except for T-Clean. I played with a few times, so this was kind of just getting to know each other, learning how people play, their styles, and that goes into it as well. If you're just playing solo quads and you're trying to party up with random people, odds of success is very low unless you're just an absolute beast, which some of you may be. I'm not going to say you're not. Or you're going to have to play very passive and end up with like 4 kills at the end of the match just because you're focused 100% on the zone instead of actually being able to push people and put yourselves in a bad position. At least with 4 people, you could trade players out, which allows it so, hey, you know what? Push the building. If you go down, we're going to know where they're at. We're going to pounce on them. Especially in 4s, as long as you have a full squad of 4, you have the advantage, most likely, because at this point in the match, most people were in 3s or 2s or even solos. So you can see there's a guy in this building here. He ends up just kind of sitting in the building, and right here you can see him in the garage. He's shooting the RPGs nonstop. I can't even see the guy, and the guy doesn't die. Look at how many RPGs that is. And I guess the blast damage isn't taking the guy out, and all I do is land the 1 bullet. and the guy is dead. He was just laying there on the ground, you know, downed already. And it looks like we're gonna go for this bounty here. And again, because those bounties give you loads of cash if they're poached or if you complete them. So I'm gonna head up there. I go through the building and I get shot from somewhere in this general direction. In case you guys didn't know, wherever this red thing is on your HUD or whatever on your screen when you do get shot, that's the general area of where you're getting shot from. So if you notice that, boom, if you hit the marker, it'll move with you. And wherever you're looking, the guy, it'll do from direction. Obviously, if they move, it's not gonna move with them, but it will show where that general area came from that you did receive damage. So I played up, I go into the building and I'm gonna grab that bounty. And the guy, he's just sitting here this whole time. I heard something, but I thought it was a teammate. I backed off, fired, landed 2 shots. My teammates come and clean that up for the trade out. That could have been unfortunate where the guy just thirsted me and we were down a person. Luckily, there's a buy station there. We would have had plenty of money to bring me back with us sitting on about $30,000. And we're looking pretty good right now. We know where the bounty is and we know there's 3 people on this building. So that's sometimes what you got to do is a judgment call. The riskier one is to go maybe to the people on the building if they're at the top of the building. If they're kind of on the floor moving, they don't know exactly where you're at possibly. Maybe they heard the gunfire, but with having suppressors on and ghost, they might not know exactly where you're at. Obviously, I still have overkill on because I haven't been able to get my loadout again. And that's just kind of sometimes how it goes. Weren't able to hit up that second loadout. I mean, you could bank on it, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. We just split up the money so everyone's able to get another UAV. So we got our UAVs and now we know that there's still people over here. I go ahead and take the snipe. Unfortunately, I just get a body hit and the guy ends up just running away. He's like, oh, nope, I don't want anything to do with that. So in your mind, you have to be aware that there's people on this left side. And then generally there's going to be people in the zone where that little bit of a bounty is. So you kind of got to pick and choose what's the smart option. We're kind of pushing this left way and I end up going for a play, which you'll kind of see. I kind of make a play to try and save my teammate. Doesn't necessarily work out. My teammate ends up still getting down, but you'll kind of see how it plays out up here. So I'm expecting there to be guys on that right side where all the mini-map is showing them. And then there's people further. So we're dealing with 2 teams here because there's a total of 6 markers. I don't know how that, I guess I was a little bit farther off to the left. I missed the first shot. I was thinking it can go through there. I missed the second shot. So I'm coming down. I see the guy run through right here. I throw some C4. He ends up backing off and goes in there. I go for it aggressively. He didn't know that I was that close. I take him out. And then I take out the next one. And I'm just too low health. I'm not able to take out the second. Teammates come in pretty aggressively. And you can see we lost 1 teammate to the gulag. But we did get that trade out that I was talking about earlier. But everyone's got to be close enough where people are able to push that position together. So now we're just kind of waiting for him to come back so he can get his loot. He's landing back down. He's getting his loot. And then militia is marking someone. I guess the guy's upstairs. He ends up taking him out. We're able to get the revive off. So there's a quad over here we got to be aware of. Gulag's closed. Haven't died yet, so that's good. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take advantage of my gulag. The way this zone works out is there's probably people that were near this buy station. Our bounty was over here. We have another buy station here. So we're expecting there to be people here, here, and then a little bit higher. I believe there was still people over here. They probably already started rotating that were on top of that building that I initially sniped because there was, remember, 2 squads that were 2 squads of 3, maybe 4 if they had ghost. We don't really know that part. And we'll never know that part because you'd have to look at how the map worked. But now we got to rotate across the map and we're going to have to be aware. And we're kind of in the open. We could have probably rotated earlier. We could have probably stayed in this building, gone around. But sometimes when you're going for the kills, this is kind of the position you got to put yourself in. And you're going to be able to come out of it as long as you guys stick together or are in a squad and are able to communicate. If you just go off, split off, this is not the time to split off. Because generally that is going to really put you in a bad position because people have a better power position. So there's the other squad that was running off from there. You can see the loadout drops going down. And this is a perfect opportunity to pick up Ghost. If you didn't have Ghost, somebody coming from the gulag like we saw. He's going to be able to get his perks back. If he wants to get perks, he already has his weapons. So we're just pushing forward. We know there's a couple people on this left side. And then there's someone right in front of us. Somebody's at the buyback station. You can see it flared up. Right on that left side, peeking. I don't know how that one missed, but it is a miss. It is what it is. And then I end up hitting this guy, which I didn't think that was supposed to hit, but it ends up hitting. It's just sometimes how it goes. And then he ends up getting thirsted by our teammates after I get that one hit marker, reloading, and then pretty much that team is down. And what we decided to do is we would each get our loadouts individually. You can see 2 there, but basically not all at once, because then somebody can just get us with an RPG or something. That's weird. My watch says 8 kills, but on the top it says 9. Whatever reason, that stuff just doesn't track properly. I don't get it. So we're going to get our loadouts. They're pushing out. They're watching. We see guys on that side. Peeking. There's one on the right side, though. So you can see kind of how we did that rotation to get our loadouts. I'm going to pick a ghost class, and then I'm going to re-pick up the weapons I was going to use. Obviously, in your case, you're not making content for a specific loadout, so you would just pick up whatever you want, honestly. I just stuck with the M4 because I wasn't sure if I was going to do an M4 video or HDR video, so I just kept both of them just because I was using them throughout the entire gameplay. Just something to keep in mind. I could have just picked up Ghost and then dropped the RPG for the HDR and then kept with the GRAW if I wanted to stay with the GRAW. So there's a guy there. We know that there's 2 on this left side down low once the UAB hits, and there's 2 up high. So right here, we're kind of just taking those 2 on. This guy on the right ends up being cleared out. He's kind of running away. Come to put in backup, and then you can see this guy on the window. I end up shooting him, and then there's another one. He kind of goes behind the building. So what I decided to do is flank. The other guy ended up running away. He had no business with the gunfights that are going on, which is kind of interesting. But while this mini-map's in the air, you can see that there's 6 teams left. There's for sure a team that we're going against, the team up here, and then there might be 2 or 3 teams on this side because there's a lot of dots there. But on the low side where we just came from, odds are that back area, pretty much everywhere from the airport side, should be fairly clear because we cleared off all those guys. We cleared through the other side. We went and got our stuff loadout draw, or we went into the buyback station. So odds are incredibly high that that general area should be fairly clear. So most of our targets should be directly in front of us in that cone, almost as if it's in a triangle from where you're at. So right here, up to the left, and then up to the right, and nothing really behind us or to the sides. So I come through. I'm thinking the guy was on the roof. It looks like he got downed. So I was thinking that the UAV was a little bit late. I didn't expect 2 people in this building, and I didn't hear the call out that somebody was downed in there. But I go get this guy. I throw the C4. I down him. I push it, finish him off. And this guy was in my blind spot. You could actually see his toe here as I come through. I thought that was a downed I didn't know that that was a downed player. I thought there was like a finished player. So I jump over here. I go for a reload. And then when I jump out, I end up one bulleting that guy, take him out. And then now my kills are aligned, 10 and 10. I don't get it. It went up 2 here, but only 1 here. Not sure how that works. But these kill tracker and this watch, not accurate. It's just not accurate. Sometimes it'll change mid-match, which it doesn't make sense because you guys saw the kills. That was 2 kills, should have gone up by 2. Top right only went up by 1. So we're just peeking right here. We know that there's somebody probably on this side rotating. There's somebody on one of these turrets. And then there's probably someone on this right side. 3 teams left. That adds up. 1, 2, 3. We know that it's not really somebody on this right side for the most part, just because that's where we cleared out. And you got to understand that when you rotate. Luckily, we got a favorable zone. If it was up on the hill, we would have been kind of screwed because of the way the rocks are and the paths are designed in a lot of these hilly areas. You just can't get up. You're going to be funneled into one direction, and they have the high ground. Odds are they're going to see you before you see them. It's just the unfortunate part of how the zone works out. In this particular case, we kind of lucked out. Not saying we couldn't have won the other way, but it's just kind of how it goes. So going into this building, and this snipe should have given me a hit marker. I'm not saying the guy should have downed, but this should have 100% given me a hit marker. Look at this snipe. Nothing. And the guy finishes me off. Luckily, self-revive, T-Clean comes in, helps me out. Once they've cleared the area, we do get kind of subbed out, but I'm in a safe spot. So I knew I was taking that snipe. I could have broken the glass beforehand, but either way, I should have got a hit marker. That guy should have been some broke his arm or something, because that snipe will look clean to me at least. I don't know. So teammate gets down, but we've already cleared out the area. They were able to take out those guys. Those guys focused on me, gave his position away, and we're in a good spot now. Still 3 other squads. I got to be a little more careful because, like I mentioned earlier, the the armor ends up being an issue. I don't have any armor plates. So I gotta be cautious, because if I take damage, I'm gonna be in a bad spot. Teammate helps res him. We're backing off. I'm just double checking to see if we have any plates here. Come through. Teammate gets shot again. I'm just watching overhead, and then I decide to get into the zone. This area we just walked through. We just literally walked through. Odds are it is fairly clear. I still check it with the heartbeat sensor because you can't be too careful. But as we go in here, double check it, see it. There's nothing in here. No guy up top. And then I'm focused on what's going on this right side. I can't even have an angle on that guy. I'm checking the building. They're so dark in there. You can see he's using the RPG, deal some damage. And then we're all up here. All have self-revives except for Militia. I'm checking the back area. There was a plate right there. I didn't end up grabbing it. I saw it in hindsight now, but there was a plate that I could have potentially grabbed. But I'm more focused on what's going on because there's only a couple teams left. This guy ends up running. I end up downing and then thirsting him with my teammate, Team Clean. And then now we know that the enemies should all be coming from this direction. The people that push the building, and these people got to jump out of the building. Fortunately, we rotated a little bit earlier. We were in a favorable side, and we're going to be in position where we can actually win these gunfights. So I call on that UAV. Everyone that is left has Ghost. Checking the back area. No one slipped around. Last kill happened there. You can see that now it's a 4v2, and they actually have people down up here. You just got the kills right there. Pretty much that ends up being it. Guy revives, we shoot, and that is the dub. So we ended up with a fairly even distribution of kills there, and we ended up getting the win. Overall, I think that's kind of a breakdown of my overall thought process as we're playing in a team. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below and by hitting that like button. And if you're brand new to the channel or you just haven't yet subscribed, make sure you hit the red subscribe button, especially if you made it to this point in the video. You probably enjoyed the content. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.